Good evening. I'm Daniel Brown, bringing you tonight's top story on latest global news TV. On January 20th, 2025, elect President Donald Trump delivered his second inaugural address, marking the start of his return to the White House. The speech, characterized by its heightened messianic tone and grand promises, outlined President Trump's vision for America's future while reflecting on his journey and challenges. This report delves into the key themes and implications of his historic address, a speech of deliverance. President Donald Trump's inaugural speech wore on a tone of deliverance, portraying himself as a savior for the American people. Declaring January 20th, 2025 as Liberation Day, he framed his return to power as a pivotal moment in the nation's history. Citing last year's election as the most consequential ever, he vowed to address the issues left unresolved by the Biden administration, including crime, illegal immigration, and societal divisions. Let's dive into the footage.
Yes, sir, we'll have it for you back at the first is the rescissions of 78 Biden-era EOs and presidential memoranda.
You want to call it out? Do you want to say it? Do you want to say it?
Oh, if you want me to, sir.
Why don't you say what I'm signing?
Sure. The first item that President Trump is signing is the rescission of 78 Biden-era executive actions, executive orders, presidential memoranda, and others. Thank you, sir. Thank you. The second item, President Trump, is a regulatory freeze, as you announced in your speech, preventing bureaucrats from issuing any more regulations until we have full control of this, the government and this administration. Thank you, sir.
Sir, can I have a pen?
The next item, sir, is a freeze on all federal hiring, excepting the military and a number of other excluded categories, again, until full control of the government is achieved and we understand the objectives of government going forward.
Could you imagine Biden doing this? I don't think so. I don't think so.
Sir, the next item, as you announced in your speech, is a requirement that federal workers return to full-time in-person work immediately. Thank you, sir. Next, we have a directive to every department and agency in the federal government to address the cost of living crisis that has cost Americans so dearly. Thank you, sir. The next item here is the withdrawal from the Paris Climate Treaty. Yes, sir. We're going to save over $1 trillion by withdrawing from that treaty. And the next item, sir, is a letter that will be transmitted to the United Nations explaining that we are withdrawing from the Paris Climate Treaty. Thank you, sir. This next item is a directive to the federal government ordering the restoration of freedom of speech and preventing government censorship of free speech going forward. And lastly, sir, before we go back to the Oval Office to sign a large number of other items, is a directive to the federal government ending the weaponization of government against the political adversaries of the previous administration, as we've seen. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. Pretty fun job. I'm gonna hightail it tonight.
One of the most striking moments of the speech was President Trump's recounting of an assassination attempt last July, which he described in biblical terms. "An assassin's bullet ripped through my ear," he said, attributing his survival to divine intervention. On January 20, 2025, elect President Donald Trump delivered his second inaugural address, marking the start of his return to the White House. The speech, characterized by its heightened messianic tone and grand promises, outlined President Trump's vision for America's future while reflecting on his journey and challenges. This report delves into the key themes and implications of his historic address, a speech of deliverance. President Donald Trump's inaugural speech walked on a tone of deliverance, portraying himself as a savior for the American people. Declaring January 20, 2025, as Liberation Day, he framed his return to power as a pivotal moment in the nation's history. Citing last year's election as the most consequential ever, he vowed to address the issues left unresolved by the Biden administration, including crime, illegal immigration, and societal divisions. One of the most striking moments of the speech was President Trump's recounting of an assassination attempt last July, which he described in biblical terms. "An assassin's bullet ripped through my ear," he said, attributing his survival to divine intervention. "I was saved by God to make America great again." This narrative underscored the messianic rhetoric that permeated his address, vision of a golden age. In his 30-minute speech, President Trump painted an idyllic picture of America entering a golden age. He envisioned a future free of war, disease, and discrimination, with ambitious plans including a manned mission to Mars. "Sunlight is pouring over the entire world," he declared, emphasizing a hopeful and optimistic outlook. Despite the uplifting tone, President Trump also signaled forthcoming challenges. His call for national unity did not extend to his political opponents, particularly Democrats, who sat silently during the address. President Trump's criticisms of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris were pointed, accusing them of trying to socially engineer race and gender into every aspect of public and private life. Reactions and implications. The response to President Trump's speech was polarized. While his supporters celebrated his triumphant return, Democrats in attendance were visibly dismayed. Former President Joe Biden, who had been confident in his ability to defeat President Trump again, appeared humiliated. He applauded only once, during a reference to the release of Hamas hostages, and otherwise avoided eye contact. For President Donald Trump, this address was markedly different from his 2017 inaugural speech. It was more expansive, optimistic, and seemingly crafted for the history books. With no re-election campaign to manage President, Trump now has 4 years to shape his legacy. Shaping a legacy. My proudest legacy will be that of a peacemaker and unifier, President Trump stated. While his critics may question the sincerity of this claim, the next 4 years will reveal whether he can achieve this vision. His leadership will undoubtedly continue to polarize the nation, but his bold promises set a high bar for his administration. Conclusion. President Donald Trump's second inaugural address showed his evolution as a political figure, blending grandiose promises with a messianic self-image. As he begins his second term, his vision for a transformed America will face the test of implementation and scrutiny. Only time will tell if his aspirations for a golden age will come to fruition or remain a rhetorical flourish. Closing remarks. And that concludes tonight's broadcast on Latest Global News TV. Thank you for staying with us as we bring you in-depth reporting on the stories shaping our world. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay informed. I'm Daniel Brown, wishing you a safe and peaceful evening. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time on Latest Global News TV.